Is it, whoa, is it cold outside?
Wow, it's good outside. It's not very cold.
But they say it's going to be extremely cold by, oh, he might.
I open for the door.
Yeah, probably that's what he wants. There you go, boss. He tried to follow you around the house.
Around with me.
Be nice to Waleed.
He's bit me in my legs.
He's what?
Bit me in my legs.
No, he didn't bite you.
He checked. He want check with me and put his legs in my legs.
No, he didn't bite you.
See what happened? What you do?
Bob, you've been good the majority of the day. Calm it down, please.
Not coming down. He not coming down. He wants to follow me.
It's called pull Waleed around the house. Come on.
What you need? Oh, come. Go out. Go. Go here. You need to eat.
Eat that now.
You need to eat.
Jacob.
Hello, Chris. I can hear you.
All right, great. Thanks, man. Let me turn on my video.
There you fully recovered from COVID-19.
Oh, yeah. It's not fun. I'll tell you that.
I've heard that, and do you remember, you may, Lando Murphy Jr.? He used to sing, sang with Dave in Atlantic City a couple times. Anyway, he had COVID before you, and he said the same thing. He said, COVID it's not fun. I said, I wouldn't think it would be. Yeah, I've heard
And,
it could either be.
Yeah, and it hits everybody different. I felt like I got hit by a truck, but Lorena, she had the hacking cough. I never got the cough, so it hits everybody different.
So you felt like you had the flu then, almost?
Yeah. Luckily, I didn't have any respiratory issues, but I had a headache. My body was aching. I didn't have much of an appetite. You know, the way I found out was I was having a fish sandwich, and I couldn't taste it. And I was like, uh-oh. And then I went upstairs and I sprayed some cologne, and I couldn't smell it. And I'm like, oh no. So I had to go get tested.
Well, that should be. That's like a dead giveaway for COVID anymore. You especially with how strong cologne is.
Yeah.
So
I didn't even have a temperature, so that, you know, that's why I wasn't really thinking about what it could be until that happened.
Now, and you told me Mateo had that.
He had a temperature for 1 day, thank God, and then after that, he was fine. We kept the kids separated for a few days, so thank God the kids didn't get it, but it was just Lorena and I.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Thank God the kids didn't get it, but it's sad. I mean, I'm glad you're fully recovered because I texted you. We were all ready to go, and then you texted me back. Oh, I have COVID. I thought, oh crap, Chris has COVID. We're rescheduling. I'm not playing any games.
Yeah, that would have been one of your worst interviews ever.
Yeah, that would have been like dragging along, like not pulling deep, but it wouldn't have been good. You're fully healthy. We did it right. You rescheduled. All is well.
Yep. So what do you want to talk about today, Jacob?
I was thinking we would talk about your career in Atlantic City.
Yeah, so you know, a lot of people don't know, but my dad used to work in the casinos from the 1980s all the way through 2006. So in a way, I kind of grew up with Atlantic City's influence. I remember when we were young, we used to drop my dad off at a carpool. I grew up in Little Lake Harbor, and we used to drive my dad to the local parking lot where there was a carpool, and a few other people in town would drive down to Atlantic City and go to their respective jobs. Now, my dad was a craps dealer at the Tropicana for a long time. And, you know, I just remember that, him going to work in Atlantic City and, you know, the money that it provided for us to go to college and everything. So Atlantic City has always been a part of my family and a big part of me. So when I had an opportunity to first work at the CRDA, the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority, I was super excited for that opportunity. That was in 2012. I worked for John Palmieri at the time, the executive director. And then the next year, wasn't too long, the next year, one of my colleagues decided to announce he was running for mayor. And my boss, John Palmieri, said, you know, you should go. He told Don this. He's like, you should go meet with Chris FILLICELLO. I think he has a background in campaigns and stuff, and you guys, you know, might be able to work together. So Don came to me, and I remember it like it was yesterday. He said, I know exactly what I want to do as mayor. I just don't know how to get there. And I said, well, you know, I can help run a phone bank or two for you, because I wasn't really looking to get too involved in politics there. But that eventually evolved into me becoming his full-time campaign manager. And, you know, we pulled off the shocking upset in 2013. And Don had asked me, you know, if we win, he asked me a couple of weeks before the election, if we win, what would you like to do? And I said, well, I'd like to be chief of staff. And he's like, well, chief of staff, what's that do? And I'm like, I don't know, but it sounds cool. And he's like, all right. So he pulled off the victory, and he asked me to stay on as his chief of staff. And so we had 4 great years as far as serving in Atlantic City. Obviously, the casinos closed, and it was really challenge after challenge. but Don was definitely the right man for the job at the right time. And in those 4 years, you know, a lot of people told us we experienced more in those 4 years than most mayors do in a lifetime. So it was a unique opportunity to be part of Atlantic City's history. And again, I think Don was the right man at the right time with the right enthusiasm, intelligence, compassion to lead the city through that time.
Well, you're right. I mean, we know it because we were involved in it. And Don was almost, I don't want to say the perfect man for the job, but Don knew how to get things done in Atlantic City. I mean, people say, and I'm beginning to agree with it, he did more for Atlantic City, 4 years as mayor than say anyone else did, because you know if you follow the history of Atlantic City, like what was his name, Lorenzo
Langford, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, you hear stories, oh, he didn't do much, and of course this goes without even saying, Frank Gilliam didn't even do much. And for those of you that didn't know before we started talking, Chris was Don's as we say, campaign manager. He was one of his aides, and I believe, yeah, I was a part of that a little towards the end, because Ken did some events for Ken Schaefer, as we're mentioning, did some events for the Guardian campaign, and I just feel like, and you can tell me if I'm right, wrong, Don brought like a liveliness, or there was just an enthusiasm about Atlantic City, like he brought it to life.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's like that in real life, whether it's Atlantic City or anything he's passionate about. But I got to tell you, you know, at that time, his enthusiasm, his spirit, his intelligence, everything that, you know, prepared him. And he said this himself. He felt like his entire life up to that point was preparing him for guiding Atlantic City through that time. And it was just an amazing experience to be there with him and just see how compassionate he was, how driven he was to get the city back on its feet. So yeah, you're right. I think he was the right man at the right time. And, you know, he had his 4 years and he did a lot. And if you go around town, there's still a lot of legacies that he started or he finished that other people started. But, you know, it's just, he was a great mayor, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, and like, I'm not too thoroughly involved in the political world, but as we said, Don was the right man for the job. Not that this is a huge deal, but they instituted that Atlantic City song. It's Pure AC. He did a lot of good for Atlantic City. And I sat on a few dinners, one that's coming into my memory. There was a performance dinner, and Ken and I went at the Ocean and I'm sure you remember those, Defeat at the time, the owner of Ocean.
Yep.
Yeah, Don came to
Bruce.
Don came to the dinner with all of us, and you know, he's, as we said, he's just so warm and friendly and upbeat. Yeah.
Now, Jacob, I don't know if you heard, but Don over the weekend announced his candidacy for the Assembly in the 2nd Legislative District.
Oh no, I did not hear that. It's funny. we'll talk about that. But how is Don? Because I've heard conflicting reports from people in Tom's River. I've heard he's doing well. Can you provide us with a little update if you have anything?
Sure. So he had a little bit of a medical episode at the beginning of the summer last year. He had to take some time off of work and was recovering down in Atlantic City. And then, the opportunity to stay home and try to work on something else came about. And so for the past couple months, he was sort of mulling the idea of running for office again. They had asked him to run for Congress right after the loss in 2017, but he wasn't ready. He wanted to recharge his batteries. And as he said, it get the fire back in his belly. So the past couple of weeks, he's been really considering it, talked to his husband, Louis, and made the announcement on Saturday. And he's all in. He wants to take his experience that he learned in Atlantic City and the experience from Tom's River as a business administrator for a 92,000 person town, a suburban town up in Ocean County, and just use all that experience to represent the residents of the 2nd legislative district in Atlantic County.
Yeah, and I mean, he, as we've said, and I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but Don has said, no matter town big or small, Don is the perfect man for a job like that. Because say if a resident in Tom's River came to him and said, I want this done, and they went to Don, and he could probably get it done for them, whatever that may be.
Yeah, and the good thing about him is that he spent 25 years in the Special Improvement District. So he's never really been part of government. He's been part of a quasi for-profit organization that was sponsored by the casinos. And really, if you don't get the job done, you're going to lose your funding. And if you're not creative, because you only get so much money, if you're not creative, you're not going to get the job done. So he's had a lot of training, specifically in Atlantic City, on how to solve problems in an urban area. But now he has experience in a suburban area, which combined, you really can't ask for a better candidate to represent you in Trenton and represent your municipality, because he's seen it, he's done it, and it's just a good situation for him to run right now.
Yeah, and we need good bodies in the political office now to get the job done, especially with COVID and all that's going on.
And if he was there at your house right now, he would be playing with your dog. He loves dogs.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's let's see what happens. And I have a question for you. If you can hear me, minus the rocket in the background, you live in town.
Hey, what kind of dog is that, Jacob?
That is an American Bulldog. He's very friendly, but he's in the mood to be very loud.
It sounds like a lion. It sounds like you got a lion at your house and a tiger.
I don't know what to do. Put it outside. Oh, goodness.
Let him go play in the snow, Jacob.
I actually have not a single flake of snow.
Go outside.
Oh, really?
I don't have a single flake of snow out here.
Too far south.
Were you guys closed in Tom's River?
Well, I live in Little Lake Harbor.
Oh,
and
right.
we went virtual Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday we're virtual every week because of deep cleaning at the school.
Oh, well, that's good. I'm glad you guys were virtual. Um, do you have any favorite? This is my last question in the topic of Atlantic City before I'm going to talk to you about some other things.
Sure.
Do you have any favorite memories in Atlantic City?
I mean, there are so many memories. You know, I just think one of the cooler things that we used to do was attend the different religious services and different community gatherings in Atlantic City. So, you know, it's very diverse and it has a big Southeast Asian population, meaning there's Bangladesh, there's Pakistan, there's Indian, there's Vietnamese, and several other groups. So I remember, you know, going at night, probably 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night to these events, and it would be packed, hundreds of people, obviously pre-COVID, hundreds of people, children, you know, all dancing, eating, having fun, especially in the Bangladesh community. Their events didn't start till 10, 11 o'clock at night. And it was just so cool to see different cultures within Atlantic City, within New Jersey, within the United States, you know, celebrating their beliefs and their traditions from back home. So I thought that was pretty neat. I didn't get to see that every day, and just being a part of that was something special.
Yeah, and I mean, you want to experience something like Atlantic City, because, like you said, the culture is so wide. There's such a variety in cultures, because you just listed a ton of cultures. Bangladesh people, yeah, the Southeast Asian community, Pakistan, and that's one of the things that interests me too. You know, learning.
Yeah, and they're on the rise. I mean, there's a few that ran for office recently and are on city council. Obviously, it has a great tradition of African American history, the Hispanic history tradition in Atlantic City. So it's just amazing how diverse 48 blocks are, and you know, just the history of the whole island is pretty cool.
Yeah. My next topic, I know, knowing you for as long as I have, others may not that are going to be watching this. You were a teacher. You started in Absecon, am I right?
Yeah, so after Don lost re-election, I worked on a congressional campaign for a while, but I had gotten my teacher certificate back in 2012. And fast forward to 2018, I wanted to try to find an opportunity to use that. So I put out my resume and applied to a few positions, but I was lucky enough to get an opportunity in Absecon Middle School, the Emma C. Atlees Middle School. And it was just a blessing. There was a new administration, new superintendent, new principal, and my colleagues were awesome. So I was actually filling in on a maternity leave for a teacher for 6th grade social studies, which is history. And I love history, as you may be able to tell. So that was a great opportunity. And then I had an opportunity to do some STEAM. I worked as a STEAM teacher. And then the following year, that same teacher had another baby, and they asked me to come back to year-round to finish her leave of absence as 6th grade social studies. So yes, I started in Absecon. I was a 6th grade social studies teacher, teaching about Roman history, the Byzantine Empire, the Japanese history, Muslim civilization, things like that, world history. So that was a great opportunity. And then the teacher came back, and I looked for other opportunities, and I found one actually at my own alma mater, Pinelands Regional High School here in Little Lake Harbor, and was teaching history, again, 8th grade history. This time it was American history, which is, you know, what I really like and enjoy to teach. So, yep, I'm a teacher.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if I told you this, but but I know your long-term sub. Are you still a long-term sub for her? Did she?
For Junowitz?
Yeah, did she put in her?
Yeah, she retired. They actually moved me over to the media center, so there's a new teacher over there. But yes, I know Miss Junowitz is a good friend of yours, and she was really helpful for me whenever I had a question about something.
So okay, I was all prepared. I'm thinking he's still teaching history. So tell us, what are you doing now? Like, what's up now? Because you just told me you're in the media center now. So what's that?
Yeah, just media center. Whatever they need. There's a few classes where the teachers are online virtually, and I'm helping the kids in person that have that class. With any questions that they have, a little bit of English, a little bit of math, or whatever they need for right now.
Yeah, I mean, I had to do a I didn't have to do. I offered to do a presentation this morning about disabilities and what is it like. It was all about for the future, and one of my slides was about what was it like learning virtually, and I put it nicely. I mean, yes, learning virtually, that's a challenge because someone like me, boom, I was thrown right into it tenfold. It's like, I wasn't ready for this.
Yeah.
Bam, here comes the pandemic. Ready or not, here it comes. I hope things get better because it's really challenging. Some other teachers were on the panel and they say, yeah, it is a challenge because if the kids don't sign, all this, the kids don't sign in on time, and all that good stuff. So
yep. So in that same tone, I got to tell you that the teachers that I work with, and even I was in Absecon when the pandemic first hit. So I was at 2 schools doing virtual learning, and I got to tell you that the teachers are unbelievable. I don't think they get enough credit for the perseverance that they do. After some of the teachers have been teaching 20 years, and now they're thrown into a virtual setting, and they're expected to still perform, to the same degree, and they find a way to do it. And teachers, and it's a lot harder, believe it or not, it's a lot harder to teach virtually when it comes to grading and it comes to comments, because instead of just asking, Joe Smith, how come you didn't do your homework last night? Now you got to post it on Google Classroom if they don't come on, or you got to message them, or you got to call their parents, and then you got to track them down, and then you got to send an email. And then Joe Smith said, I did my homework, and now you got to go back and you got to go check online to see if they did it. And then you got to go to your grade book to put the grade that you put previously because he didn't do it. And now you got to update that. So, it's a lot more work virtually for teachers than most people realize.
Yeah, and a couple weeks ago, I've had a couple of your colleagues on from Absecon, just different special areas, subject levels, and when I had Carly Broomhead on just before Christmas, she came on to do one, and she said, it's hard because she's used to doing 5 to 8. Well, they tacked K1, 2, 3, and 4 on top of her too. So she said to me, she said, you tack on 8th grade levels, and I think she said, of course, this is an estimate now, but like 300 to 400 kids in the school. She goes, it's ridiculous. She goes, I posted assignments on Mondays, and then I just start grading. I said that's insane. And like they threw. Well, you didn't know this, but they threw Mr. White from PE to fifth grade special ed, and he's like, some of this stuff I haven't learned in like years. I mean, you give them credit, but yeah, like you said, if you haven't done the work in 20, 30 years, and these teachers that are teaching have been there that long, they're not that equipped with the Google Classroom, the Google Meet, the Google Lists. It's
Yeah. That are sticking it out. We owe them a huge debt of gratitude for what they're doing for our kids.
Yeah, this year, and I hope by September things resolve, because it's challenged. My sister's in college at Temple, and she can't. Well, she's teaching. She says it's like you're teaching yourself, and the professors are there for questions. She said, I hope by when she goes back this summer that they,
Yeah.
are back in the classrooms. But I've said, I think once people get vaccinated, this will all calm down, will be over, and we'll get back to a life called normal that we've don't that we've never that we'll forget about because we haven't done it in almost 2 years.
Yeah, and as a history teacher, you look back in 1918, with that Spanish flu pandemic, and eventually things get back to normal. Eventually, but thank God we have better technology nowadays. People are surviving the actual COVID more thanks to ventilators and other technology and medicines. But yeah, you're right. Eventually civilization will get back to normal, whatever normal is. It'll be different, but it'll be better.
Yeah, it'll be much better than what it is now. Like we'll actually be able to go to a restaurant and eat meals again. Like that's or go.
Well, one positive thing, if there could be anything positive from COVID, I had sent out a survey to my students. I guess it happened mid-March, probably about 3 weeks, 4 weeks into it. And a lot of them had said, I get to spend more time with my family. I get to see my parents more. I got to hang out with my brother and sister. Now, granted, after a while, you get tired of your brother and sister sometimes. But the overall theme was, we were running around playing sports, going to this practice, to that practice. But now we're all forced to stay home, and it's pretty cool. I get to spend some time with my family.
And that's, as you're telling me this, that's nice to hear it, especially from this generation, because their mind is here, there, back again. It's like you don't know what they're thinking, and it's nice to hear that.
Yeah, a lot of kids said they appreciated their parents and their siblings and just the time to slow down and just kind of, be with your family.
Yeah, and I mean, it has been nice. I mean, I saw like my dad's side of the family. We all got together outside for Thanksgiving.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was nice. And we haven't seen my mom's family since last Christmas, but nobody can figure out how we can physically do that. So we'll wait. Yeah. But that's also another challenge. Okay, if you want to see people, how do you do it? I'm slowly getting back to working in the radio. I mean, with Ken Schaefer of Wibbage developed a new station, BossJockRadio.com, and I'll be doing some of their stuff for like if somebody's out or something, and then I'll be doing some interviews. And he said to the person on the other end of the phone, he goes, "Did you ever think we'd be sitting here doing an interview with a mask on?" I mean, they were over the phone, but it's just funny. Like we're in his studio and we both have masks on.
Yeah, now it's almost weird to see people without masks.
Yeah.
It's like the opposite now. Like I go to Walmart or any store and everybody has a mask on, but the one person that doesn't sticks out like a sore thumb.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. It is. It is strange. And while we're on the topic of what's going on, Ken just told me today. Together we do it's once a month for like 4 or 5 months over the summer, downtown Tom's River. They have a car show and we do all the music for it. I think it's
that's a good event. That's a really good event.
You know about that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The second Wednesday of the month in May, June, July, August, and September, we're out there. And I was thinking, since you're up there, you'll have to come down and see us because you're not that far away.
Yeah, come visit, definitely.
Yeah. And my last topic of this episode is I know you're very much very much a supporter of the Down Syndrome Foundation because of Mateo, and I wish I could have gone to the fundraiser last year, but I'm sad.
You were there in spirit.
I was there in spirit, yes. If Zoom was a thing back then, I probably could have called in over to Zoom, but so tell us about just what do you hope to get out of, like, what is your hope to tell people who don't know about Down syndrome? Like, what is...
Yeah, absolutely. So first I got to credit Alex D'Amato, the teacher I was covering for in 6th grade at Emma C. Atlee School. Because when I first met her, I was telling her a little bit about myself. And I said, yeah, we have a son, Mateo, and he has Down syndrome. And she's like, oh my God, you guys hit the lottery. And I always remember when she said that, she's like, individuals with Down syndrome are so loving and caring and, they just are so special. And she's right. And I've kind of used that term every time I talk about it, that we literally hit the lottery with Mateo. We are so lucky. We are so blessed. We knew before he was born through a series of tests that he was going to have trisomy 21, which is an extra chromosome, which have the distinctive features of Down syndrome. But we were, we believe in God. We believe that God has a purpose and plan for everybody. For our family, and we knew that Mateo would be a blessing, but we definitely underestimated the blessing that he was going to be. He's 4 years old right now, and he is just the light of our family. His love and joy radiates every single day. I say he has $1 million smile. If you ever seen pictures of him, it's so true. You cannot help but be happy about life when you see him and you see him smile. It's so infectious. And so last year we were scheduled to run a 250-mile relay from New York City down to Washington, D.C. in March, right before or right after COVID hit. It was supposed to be March 21st, 321, which represents the extra chromosome, the third copy of the 21st chromosome. Right. And as you know, everything shut down on March 16th around that time. And our fundraiser was March 11th. So we just got the fundraiser in right before the COVID hit. But unfortunately the race was postponed and we weren't able to do it in person, but we did it later that October. And we were allowed to run, wherever your neighborhood is, or on the treadmill at night. And what we did was we ran on the Atlantic City Boardwalk and we took pictures and did photos. And then when it was 1 o'clock in the morning, I got up and ran on the treadmill for our leg. So that's how we eventually ended up running this race. And there was an actual smaller team that did the course, and then we would run with them virtually from home. And we were able to raise money. Our Lady Star of the Sea allowed us to use their gymnasium. Ken came and volunteered his services for the DJ, and we had a dance-a-thon because Mateo loves to dance. It made perfect sense. And he, if nothing else, he had a great time that night. We raised over $1,000, and we reached our goal overall of $7,000 for our team.
That's wonderful. And I mean, I saw the pictures on social media, and I mean, a lot of our entertainers friends were there. Phyllis Locke was there.
Yeah, Phyllis and her sister Maria, they did phenomenal for us. Isabel Allen, she donated a lot. Tom Sykes and his wife, Tom Forkin. We had so many supporters come out that night. I can't even name them all. But it's a real blessing.
Mike Lopez, here I go. I'll start naming names. Mike Lopez was there. I mean, you had, it seemed like, and I'm sure you feel this way too, it seemed like you had everybody in Atlantic City there.
Yeah, and people from Absecon as well. Hey, Mateo. Mateo. We're going to surprise you with a guest appearance.
Oh, okay.
Mateo.
Hi.
This is Mateo. Say hi.
Hi, Mateo.
He has a flashlight.
Yes, I see.
Say hello to Jacob.
Hi.
Hi, Mateo.
So we're just telling him about your dance-a-thon. Do you like to dance? Yes. So he loves to dance. Every day he's dancing. Any kind of music, anything that has a beat, he loves to dance to it. And it was just a great night. We knew you wanted to be there, but you were there in spirit.
So, yes, if you know now that COVID is I'm hesitant to say somewhat under control. If you do another dance-a-thon, I will be there.
Go.
Yeah, no problem. And actually, here's my other son. This is Miguel Angel.
Hello.
This is my little guy. He is 1 year old.
Oh, wow. So is Mateo the oldest?
No, I have Nicholas. Nicholas is 8. Mateo is 4. Miguel Angel is 1. And we're actually expecting one more.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. I didn't know you were expecting one more.
Yeah, in July.
Oh, wow. And then that would be, well, 4.
So 3 boys so far. We don't know what the 4th one's going to be yet. We find out later this week.
Maybe a 4th boy. Maybe you'll get lucky with a little girl. Who knows?
Yeah, either way, 4 boys is awesome, or having a girl would be awesome as well, as long as he or she is healthy.
Exactly. And
even if they're not, we're going to love them just the same.
Yeah, that's it. And I mean, when Mateo turns 5, and this was a part of my presentation this morning, I mentioned Field of Dreams, and I know you went down there a couple times with Absecon schools, and
yeah.
I remember you telling me Mateo loves his sports too, so you'll have to bring him down when we.
Absolutely, and to we were asked to volunteer teachers at the Absecon Middle School to come down on a Friday night. And I remember, and I tell everybody this, it's like going to heaven. And what I mean by that is the love, the pure acceptance, the pure joy of the athletes, of the families, of the volunteers. If you could be anywhere and just experience that kind of love, it just kind of reminded me just a little bit of, what heaven would be like, just to be in a place of pure unconditional love and joy.
Yeah.
So if anyone can volunteer, I definitely recommend it.
Yeah, and I put a strong pitch out to it this morning. If you want to help, if you know anyone that's looking to help, I know of several organizations trying to create one of their own. Like there's one, like Tom's River is trying to start their own.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm helping with them just a little bit. I said I really got my own organization down here to work with, but I said I can help you a little bit, and they mainly need a networker, and I told them, Chris, I'm like, if you want your organization to work, you, you need like a variety of people to put it together, because who they had on their list was like a bunch of teachers that the founder had worked with, and I'm like telling them, like, okay, I see where you're getting, but I don't see how it would really, like you need a variety, like you need someone that would network.
Yeah, and it's a blessing to everybody. So anybody that gets involved, whether it's for 10 minutes or 10 hours or weekends, you come away blessed as well, just being in that atmosphere. So yeah, diversity in different walks of life. Anything you can do to help is just a special community to be a part of. And like I said, we hit the lottery with Mateo, and it's just a joy to be around him.
Yeah. Thank you for being here. I'm glad I finally had this recording, so this will probably be on YouTube tomorrow.
Yeah, it's funny. I think I went from almost being the first guest till, I'm sure, knowing how hard you work, I'm probably the 50th guest, which is awesome because, like I said from the beginning, I think this is going to be a great addition to everything that's going on in South Jersey. And Jacob, you're part of that. Everybody loves you. You do a great job, and I'm just thankful for our friendship. So thank you for asking me to come on here.
Yes, thank you for coming on, because sometimes it's hard to get guests. Like I'll have people scheduled, and then all of a sudden something will happen to me, and then I'll have to reschedule them. And I don't know if you know this person or not, but I had you, John White, who you know, and Alyssa Sullivan marked as my first three guests, and I got you on and I got John on, and I'm not blaming anyone or anything, but I know people have such busy lives. Like every time I go to schedule people, it's hard to schedule people sometimes, and I mean that's why I'm here. The main focus to do this was because of the pandemic, and I give credit to Mike Lopez. Said to me, we were at a dinner, he said, why don't you start your own podcast? I said, Mike, I really don't have the time to do this. That was 2 years ago. And I said, Mike, you know what? I thought about what he said, and I said, Mike, I think I'm going to do it. So I did.
That's awesome. That's awesome, Jacob. Listen, let me see if I can get Don on for you if you want.
Oh yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay. I'll talk to him and see what we could schedule.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, Chris.
All right, Jacob. Stay safe, and hopefully I'll see you soon in person.
Yeah, that would be nice.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.